There are secrets in the shadows, whispers behind closed doors, and intentions wrapped in silence that you were never meant to see on your own. But what man hides, God will reveal. What is concealed in the darkness cannot remain there forever, because truth has a way of breaking through like light piercing the night. Life will bring people into your path who smile with their lips, but war with their hearts. They pretend to stand with you while quietly standing against you. They shake your hand in the light, but plan your downfall in the dark. And while you may not see it immediately, while their masks may convince you for a time, know this: nothing remains hidden forever. God has a way of stripping away illusions, tearing down false appearances, and uncovering the intentions that were meant to harm you. Sometimes the very people you trusted the most are the ones who plot in silence. Sometimes the very places you felt safest are the ones where betrayal was being born. And when the truth finally comes to light, the pain is real. But so is the freedom. Exposure is not cruelty, it is mercy. Because until the darkness is revealed, you cannot be fully free. Until the lies are shattered, you cannot walk in the fullness of truth. Do not fear what is hidden. Do not tremble at what you cannot see. God does not allow deception to last forever. At the appointed time, every shadow must bow to the light, every secret must come to the surface, and every falsehood must collapse under the weight of truth. That is not punishment. It is protection. Because God would rather break your heart with the truth than let your soul be destroyed by a lie. It is easy to wonder why He doesn't reveal everything sooner, why He lets you walk blind for a season. But even the delay has purpose. Sometimes the darkness must last long enough to teach you discernment. Sometimes the silence is necessary so you learn to listen beyond words, to trust more in actions than in promises. And sometimes the exposure comes later, because you needed to grow stronger before facing what was hidden. Timing is not neglect. Timing is strategy. And when it happens, when the masks fall, when the truth is revealed, when what was hidden in the dark is exposed, you will see why the journey unfolded the way it did. You will understand why certain people had to leave, why certain doors had to close, and why certain seasons ended the way they did. Exposure is painful, yes, but it is also liberating. It is the light that guides you to what is real, and it is the fire that burns away everything that was false. So do not cling to what is falling apart. Do not beg for the return of what was revealed to be an illusion. Instead, lift your head and be grateful that the truth has been shown to you. Because every exposure is not just about removing what is false. It is about making room for what is true. Darkness is powerful, but it is never permanent. No matter how thick the night may seem, it cannot withstand the rising of the sun. In the same way, truth may be hidden, covered, and buried beneath layers of lies, deceit, and false appearances, but it cannot stay hidden forever. Light has an authority that shadows cannot resist. The very nature of truth is to shine, to be revealed, to bring clarity where there was once confusion. People may think they can conceal their intentions forever, but there is always a moment when the mask slips, when the words they spoke no longer match the actions they take, when the darkness they worked so hard to hide is pierced by a light they cannot control. There are moments in life when you feel blinded, when everything around you seems unclear, when you cannot distinguish between who is truly for you and who is quietly against you. It is in those moments that fear creeps in, because the unknown feels dangerous. But remember this: God does not leave you to stumble endlessly in the dark. He is light itself, and wherever He moves, shadows scatter. That is why no matter how long lies remain hidden, no matter how deeply secrets are buried, they will eventually rise to the surface. You cannot build a lasting foundation on darkness. because truth always demands to be known. Think about how lies work. They may seem convincing at first. They may hold power in the short term. They may even appear stronger than truth for a season. But lies require constant maintenance. Lies demand cover-ups, excuses, and energy to keep the illusion alive. Truth requires none of that. It simply stands waiting to be revealed. Over time, the weight of deception collapses under its own pressure, and what is hidden breaks open. What seems so secure in the shadows becomes exposed, not by chance, but by design. Darkness does not have the ability to win against light. It only delays what light has already claimed. The painful part is that we often get attached to what is hidden. We put trust in people who have mastered the art of pretending. We invest time and emotion in situations that appear solid but are built on lies. When the truth comes, it feels like betrayal. It feels like loss. It feels like our foundation has been ripped from beneath us. But what if the exposure was not meant to destroy you, but to free you? What if the light breaking through was not a punishment, but a rescue? Because if you had continued to walk in that darkness, if you had continued to believe the illusion, the damage would have been far greater. The reality is this: truth liberates. Even when it hurts, even when it shatters your expectations, it sets you free from deception. You cannot walk in fullness if you are chained to lies. You cannot reach destiny if you are surrounded by falsehood. That is why light always comes. That is why hidden things are revealed. You may not want the truth at the moment, but one day you will look back and thank God that He exposed what you could not see. For every secret that surfaces, for every hidden agenda that comes to light, for every mask that falls away, you are being pulled out of darkness into clarity, into protection, into freedom that you did not even know you needed. When truth is revealed, it rarely comes softly. It strikes like lightning, sudden and unavoidable, and it leaves behind a mark that cannot be ignored. In those moments when the mask falls and you see the reality of who someone truly was, or what was being hidden from you, the first reaction is often pain. It feels like betrayal. It feels like rejection. It feels like a punishment you did not deserve. But the deeper truth is this: exposure is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to protect you. What was revealed was never meant to go with you into your future. What was uncovered was never meant to have power over your destiny. And so the veil had to be torn away, no matter how much it hurt. Protection does not always look gentle. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it feels like heartbreak. And sometimes it feels like you have been stripped of everything you trusted. But protection works in ways you cannot always understand in the moment. God allows certain truths to rise to the surface, not to shame you, but to shield you. He exposes hidden motives because He knows that what you did not see could have destroyed you later. He reveals betrayal not to break your spirit, but to break the chains you didn't even realize were holding you down. Think about how dangerous it would be if deception was allowed to remain in your life unchecked. Imagine walking forward with people you thought were loyal, when in reality they were only pretending. Imagine building your dreams with someone whose hidden intention was to see it all collapse. Imagine giving your heart completely to a person who was never truly for you. The longer the lie remains hidden, the deeper the damage becomes. That is why exposure, even when it cuts deep, is a form of mercy. It stops the wound from spreading further. It halts the destruction before it can reach its peak. What feels like devastation is often divine intervention. The challenge is perspective. When you see exposure as punishment, you dwell in bitterness and pain. You wonder why it had to happen to you, why people you trusted failed you, why doors you counted on were shut. But when you begin to see exposure as protection, everything shifts. Instead of asking, why did this happen? You begin to thank God that it happened when it did. Instead of mourning who walked away, you begin to see that they were removed before they could drag you further down. Instead of cursing the ending, you begin to recognize it as the beginning of freedom. What is revealed in the light may sting, but it also saves. That betrayal you discovered was not the end of your worth. It was the preservation of your future. That friendship that dissolved was not a reflection of your failure. It was a reflection of their inability to stand with you in truth. That opportunity that crumbled before your eyes was not proof that you were unworthy. It was proof that it would have harmed you had it continued. Every revelation, every exposure, every unveiling of what was hidden is another layer of protection around your destiny. You were not created to live bound by lies. You were not designed to thrive in environments built on deception. And that is why when the time comes, God will shake what can be shaken, He will reveal what has been concealed, and He will expose what has been hidden in the dark, not to punish you, but to preserve you, to guard your path, and to keep you aligned with what is real and lasting. One of the hardest things to accept in life is timing. We want answers now. We want clarity now. We want truth to reveal itself in the moment we feel the sting of doubt. But truth does not always rise instantly. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it lingers just out of reach, hidden behind layers of silence and patience, until the right moment arrives. It is in that delay that frustration grows. You wonder why you did not see the signs earlier, why you trusted people who were not truly for you, why you invested in places that could not sustain you. Yet what feels like delay is not neglect. It is strategy. It is divine orchestration. God does not reveal truth too soon, nor too late. He reveals it at the exact time it will shape you, protect you, and prepare you for what comes next. If truth were revealed before you were ready, you might not have the strength to face it. You might deny it, ignore it, or try to fight against it. The exposure would come, but your spirit would not yet be strong enough to let go. So the darkness lingers for a while, not because God has abandoned you, but because He is fortifying you. He is building your character, sharpening your discernment, and teaching you to rely on Him more than you rely on appearances. And then, when you are strong enough to face what is hidden, the veil is lifted, not a moment earlier, not a moment later. The delay also reveals hearts. When truth takes time to surface, people show you who they really are. They may think their masks are working, but every season of delay exposes patterns. It teaches you to see beyond words and to measure actions instead. It trains your spirit to detect energy that does not align with your purpose. So when the final unveiling comes, it is not a shock. It is confirmation of what your spirit already knew. The delay was never wasted. It was preparation. There are stories written into your life where the timing of exposure saved you from destruction. That relationship that collapsed when it did, if it had gone on longer, the damage would have been deeper. That secret you discovered exactly when you did, had you found it earlier, you might have ignored it, and had you found it later, it might have broken you beyond repair. The timing was not accidental. It was precise. It was calculated to protect you, not only from others, but also from yourself. Because sometimes we are not ready to let go, even when the truth is clear. So God waits until the moment where letting go is possible, until the pain of holding on outweighs the fear of release. We often think of delays as wasted time, but in reality, delays are sacred. They refine us. They strip away illusions we cling to. They give us the strength to see truth not as an enemy, but as a friend. And when the moment comes, when the light finally exposes what has been hidden, you will realize that it could not have happened any other way. The timing was perfect because it aligned with your growth, your resilience, and your ability to step into what comes next without turning back. The truth is never late. It never arrives too early. It always comes at the exact second it was destined to. And while waiting for it can be painful, once it arrives, you will see that every second of silence, every moment of confusion, every tear shed in the waiting was part of a larger plan. A plan that guarded you, strengthened you, and positioned you for a future that deception could never have carried you into. Revelation is not just about exposing what was false. It is about making space for what is true. When hidden things come to light, when motives are revealed, when the masks fall away, it may feel like your world is breaking apart, but in reality it is being rebuilt. Exposure clears the clutter from your path. It sweeps away the people, the opportunities, and the distractions that were never meant to travel with you into the future. And though it hurts to watch them go, their absence creates room for what is real, what is lasting, and what is aligned with your purpose. Many times we pray for blessings, but blessings require space. If your life is filled with illusions, how can truth enter? If your heart is tangled in false relationships, how can love flourish? If your hands are gripping what was never meant for you, how can you receive what was designed for you? Revelation is God's way of decluttering your path, of cutting ties with what blocks you, of removing what hinders you, so that you can finally step forward, unburdened. Every unveiling, no matter how painful, is an act of preparation. Something had to leave. Something had to be removed. Something had to be revealed for you to step into greater. Consider how heavy the weight of deception is. When you are surrounded by lies, you waste energy holding things together that were never meant to last. You spend time doubting, questioning, second-guessing, and trying to fix what was broken from the start. But when the truth is revealed, that weight falls away. You no longer have to pretend, no longer have to carry false hopes, no longer have to fight battles that were never yours to fight. The exposure may hurt for a moment, but the freedom it brings is lasting. And in that freedom, you find the strength to pursue what is real. Every revelation you face is a form of redirection. It does not simply tell you what was wrong. It points you toward what is right. It teaches you to walk with wisdom, to choose differently, to surround yourself with people who match your growth, to pursue opportunities that reflect your purpose, to step into relationships that mirror authenticity rather than illusion. The removal of what was false is never wasted. It is the clearing of the ground so that new life can grow. When you look back, you will see that every revelation was connected to your progress. Without that truth being revealed, you might still be stuck in cycles of pain. Without that unveiling, you might still be walking in circles, clinging to what could never sustain you. Without that exposure, you might still be investing in places that were draining you dry. But revelation snapped the cycle. It ended what could not carry you forward. It tore away what was holding you back. And though it broke your heart in the moment, it set your feet firmly on a clearer path. Greater things cannot grow in the soil of deception. They require honesty, integrity, and alignment. And that is why revelation comes, not to leave you empty, but to make you ready, to prepare your spirit for greater peace, greater love, greater opportunities, greater purpose. Every truth revealed is a doorway. It is an opening into a season that would have been impossible had the lie remained. And so even in the tears, even in the ache of exposure, you can hold on to the hope that what is leaving was only clearing the way for something immeasurably greater to arrive.